to?
Hey, it's over.
No, I'm just saying.
I'm fine.
Okay, we're up. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this Board of Supervisors meeting, September 8th. Call to order at this time. Mr. Slay, if you don't mind, do the invocation. Thank you.
We're so grateful for the opportunity again that we have to come together and conduct the business of the county. I pray, Father, that you'll give us wisdom and discernment. You'll open our eyes to see what is in the best interest of all of our citizens. I thank you for this place that you've given us to live in and how you have blessed us abundantly with what we need. Father, I pray that you would continue to bless us, help us to be obedient to you. Father, we are so thankful for those who protect us and who serve us on a daily basis. I pray for our police, our firefighters, Lord. I pray for our military personnel. Pray that you protect them and bring them home safely. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen. Public comments and recognition, we really don't have any, but I would like to just recognize, I believe, Daniel Cross in the back there. I'd like to recognize you, Daniel. Thank you for being here. Daniel's the newly elected District 2 Supervisor. Glad to have you here. All right, old business.
Make a motion we approve the August 17, 2015 minutes.
Second. Motion approved, Mr. Wilcox. Second, Mr. Keith. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, Mr. Craig Slay.
Mr. President, at this time we will open a public hearing as is required by Mississippi law on the proposed fiscal year 2016 budget. I'll open that hearing. I'll ask if there's anyone here to speak on the matter of the fiscal year 2016 budget. Anyone? Mr. President, I don't see anyone here to address in public hearing any matters concerning the budget. You'll notice at the bottom of the first page of the agenda, you'll see that Ms. Laura has that section to discuss with you the actual approval of the budget. So at this time, we will close that public hearing, and the board can move on to the next item.
Okay, thank you. Consent agenda. Any questions there?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion approved by Mr. Johnson. Second, Mr. Wilcox. Any discussion? Not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Mr. John Sullivan, you come with a short list.
Yes. Just one item, ordered approving the 2015 recapitulation study for the real and personal property assessment rules.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion approved, Mr. Wilcox. Second, Mr. Johnson. Any discussion? Not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Dale Westbrook.
Have two road work accomplished for August and road work scheduled for September.
Motion to approve.
Second. Motion approved, Mr. Johnson. Second, Mr. Keith. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Charles Parker.
Thank you, sir. I only have one item on the agenda today. I'm requesting approval of AT&T utility permit to bury fiber optic cable along and across Farmington Boulevard installed between Old Fannin Road and Magnolia Place Circle.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion approved, Mr. Keith. Second, Mr. Wilcox. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Thank you.
Craig Slay.
Thank you, Mr. President. The first item is to set a public hearing for September the 15th for the Sam Murray conditional use permit, 148 Pole Bridge Road. This is District 4 parcel.
That's not me.
Everybody's scrambling. Ms. Lewis got
That's
that
to
very
set the
deep.
public hearing.
Yes, just to set it.
Motion to set that public hearing.
Second.
Motion set to public hearing by Mr. Wilcox, second Mr. Johnson. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
The next item is to set a public hearing for October the 5th, 2015 at 9 a.m. for the Roy Nichols conditional use permit, 3970 Highway 43 North. That's a District 2 parcel.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to set that public hearing. Second.
Motion set to public hearing, Mr. Keith, second Mr. Johnson. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Next item is an actual public hearing on the Kendrick Gordon conditional use permit, 1449 Old Fannin Road, District 5 parcel. Mr. Gordon is requesting a conditional use permit to operate a food vending truck at 1449 Old Fannin Road. Michael Nowell has given him permission to park on a vacant lot north of the Water Dance Apartments. The proposed hours of operation are Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. It's a .52 acre parcel, zone C2. There's been one phone call received in opposition to this request. This time we'll open the public hearing. I'll ask if there's anyone here to speak in opposition to the Kendrick Gordon conditional use permit. Anyone to speak in opposition? Mr. President, I don't see anyone here to speak in opposition. This time the board can entertain the request. We can continue the public hearing. Board can continue the matter. Since this involves Jay's district, there's a lot of options that are available.
Mr. Gordon, can I ask you a couple questions?
Yes, sir. You'll come forward. Hey, just for the record, if you will state your name and address, please.
Okay. My name is Kendrick Gordon. Address 104 Water Dance Way, Apartment C3.
Okay. Well, the only concern I have is basically of a transit vendor. How long are you gonna, is this gonna be seasonal? Is this gonna be continual? How's that gonna?
Well, more like seasonal, because, you know, when the weather is kind of bad, you know, I wouldn't really be out as much
Right.
one of the times like that. More like seasonal.
And I guess my concern is more you've got businesses up and down the road like your McDonald's, your Penn's and things like that that pay ad valorem taxes and things like that. So I was kind of concerned about what
I pay sales tax off of it.
you'll be paying sales tax.
Yes.
Is
Mr. Bishop didn't have a problem with it. He spoke to me.
Oh, he didn't have a problem with it at all?
He spoke to me and said he didn't have a problem with it. I think, Renee, can you, that's kind of what you, yeah.
And that doesn't even fall in, transit vendors didn't fall in the overlay district at all? We didn't have any?
Is this a transit vendor situation?
No, we look at mobile or portable, things like this, like on the snow cone stands. They have to come through the conditional use since they are mobile or
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I looked in the overlay, I didn't see anything.
Okay. I just cleared up a few things that
Okay.
I was wanting to know.
Like I
Thank
said,
you.
the main
Thank you,
thing,
no
he
problem.
didn't, like I said, he didn't have a problem.
Are we ready to close that public hearing?
I think so.
Okay, we'll close that hearing. This time it'd be appropriate to take action.
I make a motion to approve. Well, I guess we need a, fail for lack of a second, or either you want to postpone it till Mr. Bishop gets back. I was just going by the fact that he said he didn't have a problem with it.
I would postpone it till Jay gets back.
I'm gonna make a motion to table this item till Mr. Bishop's return.
Second.
Okay? All right?
Well, at this point, they moved the table, so you'll have an opportunity, because it's going to be reset, so you'll have an opportunity to speak at that time. We closed the public hearing, otherwise I think it'd be appropriate to do that. All right?
Okay. We'll just table it till he gets, motion has been made to table it till Mr. Bishop gets back.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion from Mr. Table, Mr. Johnson, second Mr. Wilcox. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay.
The next item, I'm sorry, lost my train of thought there. The next item is item D under my section, public hearing for the Robert Lloyd conditional use permit, 551 Grants Crossing, it's District 2 parcel. Mr. Lloyd is requesting a conditional use permit for outdoor storage of recreational vehicles and boats at the Storage Max Grants Crossing self-storage facility located at 551 Grants Crossing Drive. Storage facility was constructed in 2003. This would be obviously before zoning was adopted. The aerial photography shows that outside storage on the front of the property began in 2009, or we think in 2009, with an increase in the amount of the outdoor storage in about 2010. Mr. Lloyd brought the self-storage facility. He bought it in May 2012. The application states that at the time of the purchase, vehicles were parked on the north side of the entrance drive, and as demand increased, the south side of the entrance drive was also utilized for open parking. It's a 7.72 acre parcel, Zone C2. Mr. Lloyd plans to add landscaping to the area that fronts along Grants Ferry Road. No calls have been received on this matter. At this time, we'll open that public hearing. I'll ask if there's anyone here to speak in opposition to Mr. Lloyd's conditional use permit for outdoor storage. Anyone? Mr. President, I don't see anyone here to speak in opposition on that matter. Unless you have questions of Mr. Lloyd, who is here, it would be appropriate to close that hearing, so I'll let y'all decide.
Okay, and we got the buffer plan on go? Okay. All right, and that's all the way across the front. Okay. Good.
We ready to close that public hearing? All right, we'll consider it closed. This time it'd be appropriate to take action.
I make a motion to approve Mr. Lloyd's application.
Second.
Motion approved, Mr. Keith, second, Mr. Wilcox. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Ms. Laura Oster, County Administrator.
Good morning, thank you. I always like this time when I can hopefully put the budget to rest. The first item I have is the approval to adopt the FY16 budget in the amount of $142,544,781.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion approved, Mr. Wilcox. Second, Ms. Johnson. Any discussion? Not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay.
Next item I have is the authority to publish the combined budget for publication. That is the one-page synopsis that will go in the paper that reflects the amount that I just gave to you.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion approved, Mr. Wilcox. Second, Ms. Johnson. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Thank you. The next item is authority to adopt the FY16 tax levy of 40.24 mills for county taxes, which represents a 0 mil increase over your FY15, and 51.55 mills for the Rankin County School District, which represents a 2.13 tax increase, and authority to publish. And as you know, gentlemen, we're presented with an amount that I have to levy, and y'all don't have any discretion in levying the amount for the school.
Thank you for making that clear.
Motion approved.
Motion approved, Mr. Wilcox.
Second.
Second, Mr. Keith. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
The next item is approval to enter into a contract with Central Mississippi Planning and Development District to develop a new comprehensive plan and zoning ordinance for Rankin County, and authority to execute the documents. We've talked about this one before,
Right.
and it won't be done all in 1 year. It'll take a little while, but the one that they presented to Craig Slay and I was a very nice rendition of the plan that would eventually go online with a lot of graphics and different items.
Okay. Motion approved.
Second.
Motion approved, Mr. Wilcox. Second, Mr. Keith. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Thank you. The next item is authority to enter into client service agreement with Prime Pay through Regions Group to administer COBRA services and retirees insurance, and authority to execute the document. This will replace the contract that we have with Ceridian. We will put them on notification. Right now we are paying for these services, and through Regions we will not be charged for the COBRA administration.
Okay. Motion approved.
Motion approved, Mr. Wilcox.
Second.
Second, Mr. Johnston. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Thank you. The next item I have is to acknowledge Waste Management as the apparent lowest and best bidder for our solid waste contract, and authority for the board to work on, the attorney to work on finalizing the contract with Waste Management before October 1 of 2015.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion approved, Mr. Johnson. Second, Mr. Wilcox. Any discussion? Not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
That's all I have for you.
Okay. Any additional business to be discussed?
Gentlemen,
We
I've
have-
got one matter that we need to take, and we need to consider going to executive session on. It's potential litigation. And I wanted to give you guys an update on the Trustmark situation with the property behind the existing Chancery Courthouse. If you're prepared, I can do that right now, and then we can take up whether we need to go into executive session.
Okay.
This information came late on Friday, and so that's why this is the first opportunity that we've had to really discuss this. This came from our architects, JH&H. They have been interacting with Trustmark Bank. Just as a quick reminder, and for the benefit of those in attendance as well, the situation is that the decision's been made to construct a new Chancery Court facility, Justice Court facility, combined. The location, the preferred location is to the west of the existing jail facility. It's to the north of the existing Chancery Court facility. It's an open space of about 7 to 10 acres there that can serve for that purpose. As a part of the process of getting that site nailed down, we discovered that there's about a 3/4 acre piece of it that is owned by Trustmark Bank. They use it as employee parking. And so we have been in discussion with Trustmark, as you guys know, for quite a while about working all of that out. And so through a series of discussions and through their internal process, Trustmark's internal process of approving some sort of transaction, we're working our way through those negotiations. At first, it looked like we would be able to get everything resolved by providing for Trustmark some temporary replacement employee parking for them in at least somewhat close proximity to the bank. They would then tender to the county the possession of that piece of property that we need to secure the site and go ahead with our construction project. It turns out, it looks like now from the updates that they may be able to satisfy their parking needs, at least on a temporary basis, for their employees without having to use any other county property. So that's at least helpful as far as that goes. We are still in discussions with them, however, because they do own that piece of property, about tendering it to the county. And if they don't need replacement parking from us, then it's going to look more like a transaction just for us to buy the property from them than to work out some sort of arrangement concerning parking. So we're moving along those lines now. I don't have anything to tell you firm, other than those discussions are still going forward, and Trustmark's trying to get comfortable with the long-term solution to all of this, okay? So it's a work in progress, but we feel like momentum is building in the right direction. We'll be able to report back to you. Our architects have made it clear to the bank that we are moving quickly through the process of getting construction drawings done so that this board will have an opportunity to consider allowing that to go out for bid during this term. And so they understand that we need to get a firm answer quickly. So that's kind of where we are.
Okay.
Any questions at this point? We'll keep you up to speed as best we can.
Sounds like we're one step closer.
Yes, sir.
Was that the part of the possible litigation or not?
No, sir.
Okay.
But we do have a possible litigation matter to discuss.
Okay. So there's a need.
We all need to discuss the need to go in.
Yeah. So,
I make a motion to discuss the need to go into executive session.
Second.
motion discussing need to go into executive session by Mr. Johnson, second Mr. Wilcox. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, thank you. That was a record time,
Jay,
9:20.
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all.
Y'all have a good week.
Short week. Thank you. John, did you enjoy the game?
Hey, John,
I saw you over there.
do you want me to stop by on the way? Hey, what's his name? It's not Cochran. It's Cochran.
I turned you off.
You don't need to be in here with you. That's what we're doing.
I asked Mr. Butler, I hope you got word that I wanted you to stay in here. I got you going out. The litigation involves one matter that is a drainage issue. It's probably going to impact our engineers. So